Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Are you kidding me? There's no way I cannot talk about it. I can't talk about it's crazy. Tune in. Let's go. Again, Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Clarence Corner is back, baby. Welcome back to Clarence Corner, favorite place to get your news, knowledge, and action anywhere from TVs, books, movies, and more. Today we're gonna talk about Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Are you kidding me? It's insane. So crazy. Biggest trade in NBA history, without a doubt. Arguably biggest trade in sports history as well. Seriously. Like it's crazy. I mean, it's Luka Doncic. You know, I'm repping his jersey right now. One of my favorite guys to watch in the league. Just so talented. Um, so we're gonna discuss it. My thoughts. I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I'm a nice guy. You know, I just like to. I'm a nice people. I'm a people pleaser, but I'm also at least be realistic as well. So we're gonna dive into it. Let's start off with the full trade. All right. So it was Lakers received Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris from the Mavericks, and the Dallas received Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and Lakers 2029 first round pick. The Jazz, the Jazz also were in this because they needed, some salary to even everything out with the new, second apron and stuff. So the Jazz received Jalen Hood-Schifino, the Lakers, LA Clippers second round 2025 pick, and the Mavericks 2025 second round pick as well. Let's talk about Luka Doncic's resume. Where do we start? I mean, five-time first team All NBA, 2024 scoring champion, led the Mavs to the 2023-2024 NBA Finals last year. Career average 28.6 points per game, 47% from the field, 8.7 rebounds per game, and 8.3 assists per game as well. So, I mean, last year almost had a triple double per game. Crazy. And again, he's only 25. He's turning 26 at the end of the month, but he still got traded when he's 25. Like I said, Luka Doncic averaged 28.6 points per game in his career. That's the highest career average for a player at the time he was traded since 1975. Again, 1975. So 50 years, if my math is correct, right? 50 years, correct. And guess who it was? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when Milwaukee Bucks traded him to the Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, Los Angeles Lakers. Okay, so let's talk a little about Nico Harrison, the GM of the Dallas Mavericks. 19 years as executive at Nike. I've worked with Kobe, MJ, LeBron, the West Point guy. Worked with working with Nike. Obviously worked with Lakers GM Rob Pelinka, which obviously because Rob Pelinka was Kobe's agent. They have him and Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison obviously have a history together. They've done a lot of work. Rob helped to bring Kobe from Adidas to Nike, which was huge. That's insane, crazy. So that's where they first met. Nico Harrison's made some solid moves. They traded for Kyrie Irving from Brooklyn, back in 2022. Which people thought, a little iffy. I didn't like the trade that much, but it ended up working out. Kyrie's been a professional, not only in basketball, but in the media as well. He's also been a great teammate and a great basketball player too. I think he should have made the All-Star team. I think he got snubbed. But he's also made some bad moves as well. Nico Harrison didn't extend my guy Jalen Brunson. Didn't give him a contract, and honestly, for the best because he's the captain of the New York Knicks. Um, but Nico Harrison ultimately believes uh, that this team, and with Anthony Davis now, can be this defensive-minded team um, can win a championship. He thinks that defense wins a championship, which is true sometimes, but also Luka Doncic as well. So. They also just traded for Caleb Martin in the deal from the 76ers, gave away the second round pick and Quentin Grimes too. So we'll see how they do. And they do have good defense. Derek Lively, who won't be back for a little bit, is out, but they also have Daniel Gafford, who's an elite rim protector. I like him a lot. But and so Anthony Davis and Daniel Gafford, but that's going to be actually pretty crazy together. And PJ Washington's not that bad either. He's a decent defender. But it's still interesting. I don't know why he made the move. We'll talk about it more. The why this first happened, they said 2 weeks ago they had coffee outside from the Mavs games outside the arena. Only the owners and the GMs knew at the time. So it's crazy how secret they kept it. how inside it was, which I kind of respect the two owners. That's got to be you got to really have respect for one another not to leak it. Well, mostly because it's such a, I mean, if you're Rob Pelinka, you're obviously not leaking it. You're like, yeah, I'm not telling anybody. I have the opportunity to acquire a perennial all-star, once in a lifetime player with Luka Doncic. I'm not telling a fly in the wall. I'm not telling the man upstairs. I'm not telling anybody. Um, so it makes sense why it wasn't leaked. AD almost a couple weeks ago, about like 12 days ago, sat down with Shams during the interview before a game on ESPN, Shams Charania of ESPN. Sat down kind of saying like, hey, like, I'm having a fun time with this Lakers team this year. JJ Redick's a great coach. But we need a center. The Lakers need to go and trade a center for me. And that had some little pushback from the team. They didn't really like that. That's not the reason he got traded, of course. But there was some, you could say it raised a brow. Yeah, get it? Because Anthony Davis he's just got a unibrow. So it just raised an eyebrow. Wasn't the reason he got traded, but it was a little some pushback. But the real reason the Mavs have had enough, I think. The Mavs had enough. Luka's defense became a liability, uh, and especially you could see it of Game 3 of the NBA Finals last year when he fouled out on a sloppy foul, and he turned to the bench and said, "You better effing challenge this play." And he also, when he fouled out, he left the team helpless. The team was only down 3 points, and they were coming back from that game. It was a great game. And then they ultimately lost that game, going down 3-0. And history shows no team has ever come back from 3-0. LeBron came back from 3-1 because he's the GOAT, in my opinion. But yeah, they came back. Brian Windhorst of the Hoop Collective podcast and of ESPN, shout out the Hoop Collective podcast, one of my favorite NBA podcasts. If you love NBA basketball or just hoops, I recommend to go and listen to that podcast. With the boys, McMahon and Tim Bontemps. Uh, the he make they Windhorst explained after the game of Game 3 last year with on SVP. He said it was calling def. He went off on Luka. He said, Luka's defense was unacceptable. This is bad. All this complaining and fouling, and the Celtics are attacking him, and that's why the Celtics are winning the series because they keep attacking Luka. He's not playing defense. He's not trying. And you saw why people got were laughing so much about it when Luka's hustle on 2K was 99 overall. The only highest other person was Dennis Rodman with the 99. I think Josh Hart had a 98 hustle, which he should have a 99 hustle in my opinion because he's like, okay, you need me to play 80,000 minutes tonight? I got you, Tibbs, no problem. Um, but I think maybe the hustle is 99 because of his high usage rate as well. Um, the Mavs had begged Luka to stop complaining to the refs. And one of the most recent podcast episodes of on the Hoop Collective podcast, Brian Windhorst explained that that the Mavs, when he made that comment when he was going off on Luka, that a bunch of fans were going at him, being really mad at him, just saying like, "Oh, you suck! Like, why would you say that about Luka? You're the worst to say that." But and obviously you're gonna hear that from fans, and usually you would hear some pushback from organizations, right? They would say like, "Hey, don't say that." I mean, obviously they'd be upset, don't go off on our star player, one of like the faces of the NBA. Luka's one of those guys that expects one of those guys that could expect to take the torch from LeBron as one of the face of the NBA, and which is true. I still think he could, especially especially now on the Lakers as well. I think it's kind of a given. Um, but Windhorst explained that he didn't hear anything from the Mavs organization. So if you put the little windy fingers, what's going on? I think you could probably tell they're a little PO'd about what's going on with Luca. And he's not wrong. The Mavs aren't wrong. Luca is a complaint. He's as good as he is. He's an all-time five-time All-Pro player. As I said, five-time All-Pro. There's only been there's only been five times five people in the five players in the NBA have five-time or at least five-time All-Pro. There's five players, one of them including Luka Doncic. There's Giannis, there's James Harden, LeBron, and KD. The second youngest player to do that on that list is Giannis at 30 years old. And Luka's 25. Not even Steph Curry has five first team All Pros. Yeah, exactly. So that's crazy. But still though, going back to the complaining thing, I looked back and looked at technical fouls at Luka's technical fouls. He's been suspended for technical fouls before. Um, but 20 going back to past 5 seasons, not including this season, past 5 seasons, 2020 he had 13, 2021 he had 17. Back in 20 his third team was seventh in the NBA. 2021 we had 17. That was second in the NBA. Back in 2022 he had 18, which was second in the NBA as well. 2017 he had 23, which was sorry, in 2023 he had 17, which was third in the NBA. Last year he had 19, which was first in the NBA. So that trend, if you're an organization, you're like like stop getting these technical fouls because that's causing us games. That's technical fouls are points, your free throws. Um, and so I did the math, 16.8 see if you want to round up, 17 technical fouls per season. That's more technical fouls than Dennis Rodman per season. Uh, Dennis Rodman played 14 seasons in the NBA. Dennis Rodman averaged 15.1 technical fouls per season. Just say that. And you could be, oh, the 90s ball, they were different. They were more physical. Technical fouls are different I mean, you can make that argument, but technical fouls are different than regular fouls. Technical fouls are like complaining, swearing at the refs, you know, um, and being more physical on fouls. If there was overly physical, they would call a flagrant foul. So it's different. Those are whining, bitching, moaning kind of. Um, those are those kind of fouls. So, and you can argue, oh, it's a high usage rate as well, so he's going to have more technical fouls. That doesn't matter. You're still complaining a lot too. So I still think it's a problem. The Mavs do have a point. Uh, and there was also some supermax concerns, like Luka wouldn't extend. But I watched the whole press conference with Rob Pelinka and Luka Doncic yesterday. When the first and when the reporter asked, like, "Oh, what are your thoughts on the concerns on?" When he just said the concerns you won't extend, Luka was just like, "Nope, nope, 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 nope." His face was just like, "Why would my grandkids not want to be set for life?" I mean, Luka lost out on about, I think, $114 million. So that's insane. I mean, how would you not want to? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, he thought he would spend the rest of his career in Dallas. Dallas loved him. Dallas loved him. I mean, they're telling they lost almost 600,000 followers after like the first day um, when they traded Luka. Fans at the arena were protesting, and it's just crazy because it's Luka Doncic, and I feel bad for fans. So it sucks. It's not fun for him, and I feel really bad because but business is business, so um, it's a bummer for him. And yeah, $116 million less, excuse me, which is what he'll sign a supermax with the Lakers, but he would have signed but he'll make $116 million less about with the Lakers versus being in Dallas because he could have signed a 5-year, $229 million deal with Dallas. And now it's not going to be. Sorry, the Lakers will offer him a 5-year, $229 million deal with the Lakers, but he could have gone a 5-year, $345 million the um with the Mavericks. So not great, not great. Yeah, so it sucks. His dad is pissed. His dad's pissed. He was going off about the organization, saying no, like you have no love for him. But business is business. Business can be awful. Business can suck, but business is business. Um, it's a bummer. It's a real bummer for Mavs fans. My heart goes out to Mavs fans. I'm trying to think back if I've ever. I mean, I lost to Supersonics. I was young. I was about 8.5 years old. I lost to Supersonics. I remember it a little bit, but man, that sucks. That's gotta suck for Mavs fans. Hearts go out to Mavs fans. wish I could talk to Mavs fans just to, you know, feel their pain. No, just kidding. But yeah, that sucks for Mavs fans. The one of the, they, as I said, they were protesting outside the arena. Some fans brought coffins with pictures of Luka's face on it, playing "See You Again," a song by Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth. So it's a big bummer for Mavs fans. So I apologize for what happened. And Luka's a fun player. He's a fun guy. He's a competitor. He's a dog. Uh, so Laker fans are lucky. They should give a big thanks to Nico Harrison. Uh, and I apologize to Luka for losing out on $116 million because obviously he would have signed. But there were also weight concerns, big weight concerns, even before like going into this season. Luka, Bill Simmons, pretty good podcaster, the Podfather they call him. I like him a lot. I listen to his podcast. He's a good NBA guy. He always talked about how Luka looked kind of big, and I mean that was one of the concerns. They said over 6 seasons, Doncic averaged 6, 7 games per year. This season he missed 27 games, including the last 6 weeks with the left calf strain. The left calf strain's definitely been a problem. He gained weight while he was out with that calf strain. Really frustrated the team officials because not only have they been frustrated with him complaining, his lack of defense, but also the weight issues. In November, his absence was officially a wrist sprain. But was actually a weight loss break because he went up to 260, you know, getting up to that Zion weight. Now Zion was at like 280 or something, but still. Um, a similar shutdown that happened in 2021. This is all according to Tim McMahon and Ramona Shelburne. And Tim McMahon, um, he's an insider as well. He's a guy that covers the Dallas Mavericks a lot, so he's a very, very trustworthy source. And Ramona Shelburne is a complete professional at their job. Those are some of my favorite people at ESPN. I like them a lot. Um, it's just funny to me. The deal happened. I mean, not. It just happened fast overnight. I mean, it was fast, but it wasn't because they had been leading up to it. But it was fast to the point of it was just two teams. I think. I think, if you look at it from AD's side of the view, I don't think he minded it because I don't think he was having like sourness with the Lakers, but as I said earlier, when he sat down with Shams, he was like, "We need to trade for a big." And if you look at the Mavs, they have two bigs with Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, who are both solid. Daniel Gafford, elite rim blocker, but Derek Lively, if you heard one of my podcasts for most improved player, I really like Derek Lively. I think he's really good. I think he's not just like, a guy center who can play defense. I think he's someone who can, uh, you know, move the ball around. I don't think he's necessarily a great shooter, but I think he's, an above average center and a great pick for them last year in the draft. Um, yeah, I like Derek Lively a lot. I think, and it's perfect. So yeah, Anthony Davis can play the five. Can play the four, and have one of those guys play five. So I think he waived his $6 million trade kicker as well. And Anthony Davis also, he has a good relationship with Jason Kidd because Jason Kidd was assistant coach for the Lakers in 2020 when they won the championship. Um, and Nico Harrison also has a relationship with AD when they were as Nico Harrison is a Nike guy. So when Anthony Davis first brought on, he doesn't have his own shoe, but he's brought on with Nike as like the signature as a shoe guy, as to wear Nike shoes. Nico Harrison was that guy. So I mean, AD's, he's out of LA. LeBron's his best friend, and he's not part of the Banana Boat crew, but he's still LeBron. Literally, quote, "That's one of my best friends." Um, he just bought a house in Bel Air. Anthony Davis did. Built a family there. But as he said, business is business. And the words of Lil Baby too. Great song. Um, uh, my thoughts on the trade. You guys kind of formulate. As I said, I like to give the details. Um, I've given most of the details on why the Mavs did the trade. I think there's a lot of great points to make. on why, but ultimately, not a great trade. It's not really a great, not necessarily, it's not, well, let me see. There's just so much to talk about. It's a bad trade because not only did you just trade Luke, you trade one of the most valuable players on the team. Um, I would have Luka Doncic third, excuse me, third in the league was the most valuable player. Not as like MVP, but like trade value wise, you're accounting for contract, um, age, skill. I put Wemby first, obviously, and then Jokic, and then Luca, and then probably SGA afterwards. Um, I mean, even last year, I think I remember, well, no, it was 3 years ago. I think I had SGA going before Tatum, so I'd probably go like probably a Tatum five. Oh no, that's anyway. We're getting off topic. Um, so yeah, it's just you traded a guy that was Luka Doncic. I talked about five-time All-Pro. Not a lot of players in the league who have done that at that age, maybe ever. I need to fact check that. Um, but it's not just that you traded Luka Doncic. It's what you got in return. As I mentioned, you got a first. You got a first and Max Christie and Anthony Davis. Max Christie's a good 3-and-D guy. I think he's a good defender. I think he's shown signs this year after they traded. After they moved some guys. After they traded D'Angelo Russell, he stepped up and played, he got more minutes and played better. So I like him. I think he could be good for the Mavs. And they also just didn't really need another guard. But yeah, it's a bad trade because you didn't shop around. You didn't shop Luca around. That's the thing. If Gobert gets five first, if Mikal Bridges gets five firsts, KD gets four firsts, but Luca gets one first in return. I mean, you get Max Christie isn't going for first. Anthony Davis goes for firsts, but you still just get one first in return, and you get the 2029 first. I would rather have the Lakers 2031 first, in my opinion, because I think the Lakers probably could be worse in 2031 than in 2029. Excuse me. So they didn't really do a market evaluation, it seemed like they were just a fire sale. They were like, okay, we want to get rid of him now. We don't want to shop around. So shout out to Rob Pelinka, this evil genius, um, in a good way. I respect him for doing that. It was awesome what he did. It's a baller move. It was pretty cool. Um, but yeah, they didn't shop him around. Like if you're Nico Harrison, you should be calling guys and being like, hey, like I'll give you Luka for Giannis. They'd probably say, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing about Giannis has had injury problems last year in the playoffs. They could have made it far, but they lost in the first round because Giannis was injured. For sure. Definitely. So if you're the Bucks, you would have taken that, in my opinion. You could have gotten like five first, as I said, for Luca. Luca for Tatum. Probably. Jaylen Brown and some firsts. Definitely. Um, I hate to say it. Actually, yeah, his contract's so good, but Luca for Jalen Brunson. Of course, of course. Exactly. You know how I love my Knicks, but yes, you take it in a heartbeat. I don't know how he would fit. It'd be interesting because how the Knicks with the whole second apron and all of that, and how they would pay Luca. I mean, Leon Rose is a genius, in my opinion. But I don't know how that would work out for everyone. But I still think, but again, you go to my point. You see my point here. You shop Luca around because he's so valuable. He's so good. Ryan Russillo said it best. Even if Luca is smoking a pack of cigarettes up the court, dribbling the ball, I would still give him the extension. No problem whatsoever at all. I think it's easy decision. You extend him, you sign him, you give him the money. He is Luka Doncic, for God's sake. He's a Slovenian dragon, the king. I guess the dragon is Goran Dragic. Excuse me, I can't take that from Goran Dragic. I can't take that from the Heat. I can't take that from my guy. Um, but still Slovenian. So I mean, still, you know, it's Luka Doncic. He's still. You get my point. You got to shop him around here. You got to move him. You got to move Luka Doncic. You got to move him around, shop him around, see what's up with him. And now to an interesting point, interesting topic with moving forward with Luka. How does he fit with the Lakers, though? So if you look at the Lakers now, the starting projected lineup, once Luka is in the lineup, he's probably coming back, this Monday. You go Luka, Austin Reeves, LeBron, Rui, and Jackson Hayes, which is, I mean, you have Luka on your team. I wouldn't count them out. But again, Jackson Hayes is, that's like, he's not terrible. He's not awful. They could, go and grab like Christian Wood or Clint Capella. Hell, even Mitchell Robinson. We'll see what happens there. I mean, say, I like Mitchell Robinson as a Knicks fan, but dude, just stay healthy for me, bro. Just stay healthy. You're the best offensive rebounder in the NBA. And I don't think it's even maybe Steven Adams close second, but arguably maybe iHeart, maybe Brightskin. He's second. But Mitch Robinson needs to stay healthy. Maybe the Lakers go and grab a guy like, I don't know, Rob Williams. I think Rob Williams is an elite rim blocker. I think he's an elite defender. But Time Lord just also, you just mentioned two of these centers, just mentioned Mitch Robinson and Rob Williams are both guys who are injury prone. So if you're the Lakers, do you roll the dice and just be like, let's hope these guys stay healthy? Do you rest them and just let them rest them most of the season, start Jackson Hayes, see if you can move up and get home court advantage, and then just see if you can load management, trade for those guys, load management them, get home court advantage, and then play those guys in the playoffs. Play one of them. I think that's could be a goal plan, uh, for sure. We'll see how they do. They also still got DFS Jordan Finney-Smith. He's a good 3 and D guy. Great. I think he's a good defender. He's good, and they also got Jared Vanderbilt back. He's a pretty good defender as well. But Anthony Davis is the anchor of that defense, no doubt at all. Anthony Davis leaving will be a problem for the Lakers and try and fill that defensive front as well. So we'll see what happens with that. But I mean, it's just crazy how the Lakers just completely seem to get all of these star players back, if you're looking back, as I said, Milwaukee got Kareem, if even before that, they got Wilt. They traded for Wilt. If before that, they didn't trade for Shaq, but they got Shaq. And if you look before and then Shaq, and then you can even count Pau Gasol. Kwame Brown for Pau Gasol. Are you kidding me? Kwame Brown was a bum, and they got Pau Gasol. So that was a nice trade. And then, Kobe's, he's dying down. Um, towards the end of his career. And then he's retired. He retires. And the Lakers are just, a bunch of guys that, they draft Lonzo Ball. They were kind of like an iffy team. They don't really know what directions they're going. And LeBron's like, okay, Kobe's gone. They need a guy. I want to live in LA. I'm gonna go to the Lakers. There we go. Um, it's crazy how the Lakers just consistently pull this stuff off. So good for them, to be honest. I don't know how they do it. It's quite crazy in my humbled opinion as an NBA fan. You know what? It's not crazy because of the Lakers. It's LA. It's that market. Everyone wants to live in LA, the city, city of angels. If we're looking down, Los Angeles Lakers currently have a 113.9 defensive rating, which is 20th in the NBA. And we're talking, this is as of Wednesday, February 5th at 10. Sorry, at 2:08 p.m. So they currently do not have a great defensive rating. Um, so with AD gone now, we'll see how that continues because that's going to be tough to continue that. You're in the bottom half of the league at defensive rating, and now Anthony Davis is gone, so we'll see how they fix that. But their offensive rating isn't terrible. From last time I checked, I'm pretty sure they were, they weren't terrible at that. So, uh, I still think the Lakers can turn around because they have Luka Doncic, who led this team to the NBA Finals. I mean, he obviously had Kyrie Irving and Derek Lively, who was pretty good, and PJ Washington and Derek Jones Jr., who played decent. But I mean, as we can say, the Luka led that team. He cooked the Timberwolves in that Western Conference Final Series, no doubt at that. Lakers are currently 11th in the league with a 115 offensive rating. Um, and you know who's second? The New York Knicks at 121. Um, Pretty nice, pretty nice. So they'll definitely see. Well, it's just going to be interesting to see how the Lakers work Luka into the starting lineup and see if they make any trades because the deadline is tomorrow at 12 p.m., February 6th. Um, I think they can move Austin Reeves, in my opinion, because Austin Reeves is like a Austin Reeves is a, I saw a meme. It was funny. It was like Charmander, and it was Dalton Connect, and it was like Charmeleon, and it was Austin Reeves, and then there was Charizard, and it was Luka Doncic. So you have like those three guards. I'm not just saying this because they're all white, but they're all white. I mean, they're all guards. Luka, he's built. He's like 6'8". He's a forward, but he plays guard. It's just crazy, crazy. Especially if we're talking about for voting him for. Doesn't matter, but they're guys that don't play defense that are scoring. That are offensive guys. So. And Austin Reeves is on a great contract. He's getting paid 12 million a year. So he's a great trade piece that you can move him for a center, in my opinion. Uh, but I think the Lakers are really excited. Um, Rob Pelinka compared Luka Doncic to Kobe Bryant in the sense that he's got that killer instinct. Um, he's got the killer instinct and that joy of basketball. And that joy of basketball could be, I think, is real. I mean, it looks like he loves basketball, but and Luke is gonna bring all of his guys over. He's got like his own conditioning people, his own training guys, but if he meets LeBron's guys, then that boy might get in shape. It might even be never miss a game ever again. If he sees LeBron's work ethic and sees how he keeps in shape and how he's still playing at 40 years old, we could have a problem. We could have a major problem. Another major problem I should have mentioned earlier is how much money Luca will be losing in taxes, um, as well, because because California had the state taxes so much higher than it was in Texas, so much higher as well. So that's another piece to think about it. So he's also going to be losing a lot of money. He's still going to be rich. He's still going to be multimillionaire. He's still going to have a lot of money, but contract wise, and it just still sucks for him. But Mark Medina of the Sportskeeda and Athlon Sports asked Luca how about his exit from the Mavs and how he talked about durability and staying in shape, and Luca talked about motive, his motive to get better. And then Rob Pelinka chimed in and he said, we got I think getting better is a I think greatness is a process, and that it's an evolution. And he feels that like the Lakers great. He talked them. Rob Pelinka talked about went on to talk about the Lakers great sports performance teams, and then pretty much they have no concerns about Luka's conditioning. They wouldn't have traded. I mean, they still would have traded for him if they had some minor concerns because it's Luka Doncic, as I said. But they're ready for him. I mean, as I said, if LeBron's on the team, I think they can. Luka will see LeBron's people and be like, okay, I'm locked in. I'm ready to go. I mean, it was that thing about, with that 2008 Redeem team with the Olympics. They saw those guys were in Vegas when they were training when they were doing practice for the Olympics, and they were going out partying. But then they saw Kobe Bryant working out at like 4 a.m. in the morning. They were like, dang, And then LeBron started working with Kobe, and then Dwayne Wade started going in, and then before you knew it, everybody was going in at 4:30 a.m. in the morning, working out, conditioning, exercising, getting ready, locking in. So maybe that's Luka. Who knows? It could happen. We could see Luka play for 15 more years if this happens. Um, Luka Doncic is now a Los Angeles Laker. Mavs gave up on a generational superstar, took a big, big risk. If this works out, if somehow the Mavs win the NBA Finals or even make the NBA Finals, it would be crazy. I think if they even make the NBA, if the Mavs make, here's to say this like this. The Lakers now have the ability to, I think, win the NBA Finals with Luka Doncic. My opinion. Uh, I think you can't really put a ceiling on that team. But if the Mavs even make the NBA Finals, Nico Harrison does, you gotta give him maybe some credit. Can you imagine if it's a Mavs Lakers Western Conference Finals? Oh man, holy moly, that is gonna be must-see television. Honestly, like the greatest matchup in NBA history, maybe, possibly. I mean, the Mavs are getting torched. Luka's gonna be PO'd. He's gonna drop a triple double every night. LeBron just gonna go, well done, my friend. Here is some red wine Cabernet from the Napa Valley, aged 19 years old. But will all this work out? Only time will tell. My opinion, yes. You know, we'll see. But as I said, I think this will work out. This has been Jake with Client's Corner. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week.